recognize our desire, once we are in the act of having sex or getting intimate with someone, does HRT make it any difficult to, or make it any harder to reach a climax, orgasm?
Yes, it does make it harder because it makes it not harder. That is a trick way of saying it.
Okay.
It is more difficult to get an erection, and if you get an erection, it's more difficult to have a harder erection. So that's the not harder part. So first of all, of course, depending on how you want to have sex and whether you need an erection for that, that depends on each person. Not every person wants to have sex with an erection. Not every person wants to have future vaginoplasty. So everyone has a different way of experiencing their sexuality, and a penis and an erection can be a part of it. But of course, for your orgasm, you need the sensitive part of skin that causes an orgasm. And when you are born with a penis, then that sensitive skin is the tip of the penis. That is the part that is the most sensitive and the part that causes orgasm in the end. But when you have less often erections and less hard erections and less blood flow, it can become less sensitive. So a lot of people say that it can take a bit longer to get an orgasm, or that it takes longer to reach that end goal. A lot of trans women, first of all, I have to say the research on orgasms and sex in general is already a bit smaller compared with all the medical research, but then especially when it comes to sexual lives of trans people and gender diverse people, it's very, very small. The majority of research is just experience reports from people, so questionnaires and where they tell about their experience. And what a lot of trans women report is that the time from being aroused to getting an orgasm increases once you start hormones. So maybe in the beginning it took a few minutes, if you want, from being aroused to an orgasm, and once you start hormones, it can take about 7 to 10 minutes longer to reach the orgasm. So it's not impossible to get an orgasm, it just takes longer. That is similar as what we see with cis people, cisgender people, where also the woman, the cisgender woman, takes a bit longer before she reaches that point of orgasm. The good news, because for a lot of people this sounds like bad news, like, oh, I have to wait longer. The good news is that the same as that for cisgender men, the orgasm is relatively short, about 3 to 10 seconds. And for cisgender women, the orgasm is a bit longer, about like 20 to 35 seconds. You see that once you start on hormones, orgasm can also increase and start to feel different. It means that it might not peak as much as it used to be with that very short orgasm, but it can last longer, the same as with cisgender women. So there is a change in orgasm. So the extra 7 minutes do build up to something new.
Okay, that's interesting. At least we get something bigger than longer for waiting. In Hindi we have a saying, sabar ka phal meetha hota hai. When you have to wait along for a fruit, it's a tasty fruit.
That's a beautiful.
Okay, so I think you answered partly the question, if the orgasm will be different.
Yes, so what I already mentioned, the duration can change, but also the strength of it. So the intensity of orgasm can change a little bit. And on top of that, for a lot of people, it might be the same as that skin becomes a bit more sensitive, the skin becomes a bit more soft. Your body can have different pleasure that feel different now. So that awareness of your body can change, and in the end, sex is not just an activity of your genitals, it is a full body workout and a full body experience. Those sensations, but also the thoughts that come with it, how you feel in your body, how you feel with your partner, that has a big influence on how you experience sex and how you experience orgasm. So if you imagine still being very insecure about your body and having a lot of body doubts, that also makes it more difficult to relax, that makes it more difficult to feel secure with a partner. Whereas if you have a partner that is very accepting of your body and very much celebrating and taking the time for you to enjoy yourself, that can feel very different. It makes it easier to relax. It makes it easier to be in the moment. If it is difficult for you to be sexually active, to relax, don't feel like, oh, this is all due to the hormones or due to steps that I take in my transition. It could also be your state of mind, where it can be very scary to be intimate with someone. It can be very scary for yourself to be connected with your body, because maybe in the past you didn't like your body and you were quite resistant to how you felt with your body before hormones. So getting connected and feeling at home with your body is also a journey. And all those different elements, the emotions and the physical elements, they all come together within sexual activity and with orgasm. So it's not only what hormones do and what hormones have for an effect on erection and orgasm, but also your state of mind. If there are still things that you're not happy with, or that you maybe feel ashamed about or feel uncertain about, there is still a lot of things that you can work on with yourself or with a loved one that you feel close with or feel intimate with. Loving yourself and enjoying the sexual being that you also are.
Yeah, so it's about being comfortable, the person you are. Also, orgasm is a more full body experience.
Yes, it is. Sex is so diverse, which is, I mean, we can talk forever about it. But on the one hand, there is this feeling of feeling comfortable with your body and going with that flow of sexuality, so feeling free to go down the river of whatever is happening. On the other hand, we also know there needs to be some sort of adventure or excitement to turn us on. The same as that it should be safe, but it should not be boring. There should be some tension, and there could be, so that makes sexuality something that for so many people a big question mark, sometimes scary to talk about. And then especially when it comes to sex for gender diverse people, for trans people, they already experience that they're being sexualized a lot. So then having these questions, sometimes people just choose, oh, let me just not have sex for now because it's too overwhelming. I think to be aware that shame and avoidance around sex happens on all levels, on all ages, on all genders, on all backgrounds. So it's very common for people not to talk about it. And some people are fine with that. But if you feel like, oh, there is something there that I actually want to address and I want to experience this fuller part of myself and also be okay with my sexual self, there's absolutely options to find how you can enjoy sex better.